something similar in the Paralympics. Now, in the US, there is paradressage and para-reining. There's even para-driving, but there is no parallel to the show jumping. And so in various European countries, essentially they have recognized the sport of para show jumping, which is essentially for disabled people. But in the US, they haven't recognized that yet. Now, for that to become a Paralympic sport, the FEI, the International Regulating Body of Equestrian Sport, would need to regulate it, and then obviously the Paralympics would need to take that on. But there is talk about that right now. So my hope is that even though I compete against able-bodied riders, I'm advocating for the sport of show jumping to become a Paralympic or a paradiscipline and eventually a Paralympic sport to, make horse sport more accessible to more people with disabilities in particular.
Yes, amazing, because Wren is really trying to help everyone, and especially those with disabilities, to know that they can go out and conquer their dreams and
Exactly.
have what they want in their lives. And I think she's a really shining example of that.
Thank you.
Are there other blind show jumpers in the United States that you know of?
So I don't know if they necessarily participate in show jumping, but there are some people out there. There's a woman up in Virginia who actually does eventing, which is amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
And yes,
that's crazy. That's great.
That I do. I do know that there's a woman down in Florida who does the hunter side of hunter jumpers. And I've also gotten, messages from people all over the world, actually, that whether they have a visual impairment or some sort of other disability, that they do participate in jumping competitions or at least jump at home. And I actually have a Facebook group for those of you that want to check it out. It's called Parajumping North America. And it's essentially a compilation of people that either are interested in learning about parashow jumping or already participate against able-bodied riders. And that's just sort of a group to get us all connected.
Yay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what are your goals for the next 2 or 3 years? What would you like to accomplish?
Yeah, so my goal for the end of this year is actually to be competing at the meter 20 level against able-bodied riders. And then my hope in the next few years is to make the USEF ranking list. So that's essentially the top 100 riders in the US. So I have pretty big goals, and then eventually, obviously, to go on to the Paralympics and hopefully even the Olympics one day.
God. That's amazing, Wren. That's amazing. How can people help you get to that goal? I know that in the slide deck that we can make that available. You do offer, you're looking for sponsors. And I think, do you have any sponsors right now that are helping you?
At this point, I have gotten some grants to help me ride. Obviously, as we all know, the sport of or equestrian sport is incredibly expensive.
Just a little, Wren.
yes, unfortunately. But, where I'm coming from is that the applications that it has are priceless. And by, pursuing my own endeavors, my hope is that I can get other people, both with visual impairments as well as other disabilities, more involved in horse sport and just inspired to do and pursue their own passions. So I am definitely looking for sponsors and mentors, as well as just people to help get my story out there. Essentially training and competition fees are what essentially make up the most of the expenses.
Yeah. Well, we'll put the slide deck, we'll put all the links below so that people can find you.
Oh, great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think what you're doing is so brave and amazing. I know
Thank you.
For me, horses have helped with my empathic abilities, and they're just so accepting. And I can't imagine being blind and doing what you're doing. So I think it's super brave of you. And I know that you've, love what you do. I mean, you must love show jumping.
I absolutely do.
Do you think that at any time that your trainer, if she wasn't there, if you didn't have the earpiece, that would hinder you? Because that's something new, correct? That you hadn't had before?
Yeah. So I actually, I'm now actually located in Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm with a new trainer and a new horse. But when I was living back in Portland, Oregon, my old trainer, I didn't use an earpiece. earpiece with her. And so, I went through the same process to learn where the jumps are and the courses and everything. I think having an earpiece would have been a little bit more helpful, but I can definitely get through a course even without that. And, that's where, when it comes down to it, there have been a lot of people that think I'm making up that I can't see, because I do get around that course so well just from memorizing that it's almost not believable, because it is an invisible disability. But yeah, I mean, the earpiece definitely helps for sure.
Yes, and it is kind of hard having an invisible disability or ability because people don't see it. And one thing that I really want to talk about real quick is we're all trying to foster a better environment for all of the equestrians, whether you're a jumper, whether you ride dressage, whether you do reining. We all love horses, and there shouldn't really be a big division. I think that we should all try to support each other. I know that you've had some experiences in the warm-up. Would you be willing to share a little bit about that so that we could kind of bring it to light and maybe help others and educate them?
Yeah. So the warm-up arena is by far the hardest aspect of this sport for me. Obviously, with all of those horses and people in there, and me not being able to see is incredibly difficult. When I'm in the arena by myself and none of the objects move, it's pretty easy for me to get around, or relatively easy. But when there are other moving factors that come into play, it's incredibly difficult. So, something I found, a lot of people are very accommodating if they find out about your disability. But then there's also sort of a sense that a lot of people are out for themselves. And I really do think, coming from a safety aspect of things, that if everyone was more willing to communicate and more open to interacting with each other, because we're all there for the same reason, and we've all been a beginner and been nervous about the warm-up arena, I think that would foster a much better experience both in the warm-up arena, as well as at shows and just in the community in general, actually.
Absolutely. And I think if we all lift each other up, and there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, Ren, I'm coming up on your side, your left, or just saying good job, because I just think that it shouldn't be all competition. It should be fun, number one. Right. And the horses are there to have fun too. And they get stressed out just like we do at shows, because they have to trailer in sometimes and they're staying overnight. So it's a big deal. It just would be nice to maybe help each other and say, hey, good job. I think that goes a long way.
Yes, I completely agree. And there are people there, competition can be fun, as you said. It doesn't have to be a negative atmosphere. And I think that's important to remember. And, I think that starts a lot with the trainers and then trickles down to their students and the riders and everything, as well as the parents. But I really do think it's important to talk with each other and just be more open and friendly and open to people with different, abilities or disabilities or different levels of riding, and just make that a better atmosphere for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are almost out of time, Wren. I can't thank you enough for being here. What would you like to leave the listeners with, and where can they find you on the internet?
Yes. So I am on Facebook under Wren Blae. That's WRENBLAE. And then I also am on Instagram under that same name. I do have a website, also wrenblae.com. So feel free to reach out at any point if you have any questions or want to connect. I would love that. And then what I want to leave people with is essentially that, everyone out there has their own challenges that they're facing. And no matter what people tell you, that you aren't capable of doing something or that you won't be able to do it, that anything is possible. And I hope that I can serve as an inspiration to others. Here I am, a blind equestrian jumping horses, and people never thought that was possible, yet I'm doing it. And so whatever your passion is, I think it's really important to pursue that and believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that, Wren. Well, thank you for being here. I can't thank you enough. And we will have all the links below. I do want to just say that I think what you're doing is awesome. And I know that you probably hear that a lot, but for someone like me who's able-bodied and who's scared to jump, I just can't even imagine. And by the way, you can go on the website, and Wren has a picture up of what like you would see and what she sees. And so you can kind of really look at what she's seeing. But her vision is to help others and inspire others. And I think that's just a wonderful, amazing thing that you can do. And yes, I agree.
Thank
Everyone, you need to stay present. I want you to step into your power and never give up on your dreams. Thank you so
Yes,
much for
I
being
completely
here,
agree.
Wren. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me, Julie. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to know more about a guest on our show, please contact me at jsalant5@outlook.com. That's J-S as in Sam, A-I-L-L-A-N-T as in Tom, 5@outlook.com. And remember, stay present, step into your power, and never give up on your dreams.